You're against a very, very strong opposition. You're trying to grow. You want to learn your mistakes. Well, you made mistakes, and now you learn from them. Game 2 is the real talking point then. Let's go straight into picks and bans to see if Game 2 will be any different this time around for the Papis. Let's get through the early game first, hey?
I still like playing devil's advocate as far as it comes to these teams like Elevate and Papis and whether or not they'll be able to split against these powerhouse EU teams such as Obey and Dignitas. It's just kind of fun to me if they're able to find them.
Ban Morrigan a few Papis?
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah?
I mean, Zyrhoes are so strong, but then again, if you ban Morrigan, I mean, there's just Soul. There's Thoth.
That's true.
There's a couple of different things that Zyrhoes has in the back pocket. So I don't think that you're necessarily looking to worry about the Thoth so much as I would maybe look to take away the tankier composition from Dignitas.
Well, Fafnir Sol from Papis will be banned. Dignitas have the first option. Who do they consider the most strong god in this situation? Find out right now as they lock in.
I mean, there's Osiris, Bellona, and Morrigan. Immediately, no questions asked. That's all that Zyrhoes
Let's look
wants.
at that game. Zyrhoes dies for first blood, but the team win the game off it. So why don't they go, hey, let's just let Zyrhoes die again for first blood, and then we'll win the game off it.
This is what I love to see, though. They took away the Ravana, and that's the adjustments that you kind of want to see. That I think that it wasn't necessarily the Morrigan that was the top-tier issue for Papis. I think it was really just they couldn't do any damage to anybody, and once they lost their snowball potential, it just completely negated anything that they wanted to do.
Well, they were against 3 tanks last time, so Papis going to draft 2 for themselves so far. Camazotz in the jungle, more than likely. Can be solo lane now and again. Up against a Bellona, I'm not so sure if you really want that matchup for sure, but he could be in the jungle here more than likely.
We haven't seen Variety play an assassin in quite a while, actually. He's been kind of leaning towards those warriors, this split in particular, and for good reason. They're just so favored, but it'd be fun, unlikely.
That's true.
Very unlikely.
Well, with 3 tanks for the Papis now, all they need is some damage to go along with it. It does give Dignitas a window here to ban out some of those damage dealers that could cause some problems here. Who would you ban if you're Dignitas?
If I'm Dignitas, probably, well, considering that Papis have next pick, probably a Ram.
Okay.
I would look to ban away the Ram because that has got a decent bit of hypercarry potential. I like the Isis ban away because Papis could very easily look for objective control, and it's just the pressure alone that Ravana can already present inside of that jungle lane. You don't want to have to worry about an Isis on top of that.
Well, they're going to ban Kurdanos there, Papis, and Dignitas' last ban is waiting. We're waiting for the last ban, I should say. And I'm expecting we'll be in mid lane again. I don't necessarily see any changes unless, Papis Cupid. It is Warchi.
I mean, there goes Warchi's one of his favorite selections, and I like that choice as well. It was between that or the Ram, and I think they'd rather just take their chances with Warchi on Ram.
Makes a lot of sense. Dignitas has 2 more picks to go. They need more than likely a solo laner here and a hunter, and there's the hunter Jing locked in. She's climbing back into popularity again.
Jing, I think she's so viable right now. I think she's incredibly strong, just because
she's so what? Viable?
So much survivability.
Did you say viable?
Yeah.
Oh, if I said vile at first. She's so vile right now, and I'm like, wow, that's mean.
I mean, she is a little bit violent if she gets a massive lead, especially in the hands of Arkkyl, but I like the fact that she has that hypercarry potential, very similar to Ram. She's already got the crit steroid built into her kit. Plus, you could still throw a Fatalis on her if you get that far ahead.
Is that tier?
That's a tier.
I've not seen tier in a while.
Yeah, but variety tier.
Ah,
it's still there. It still exists, and
I was going to say Variety Harvey or something first. Thoth is the final pick for the Papis in the mid lane, though, so a lot of burst potential there, and long range too.
A lot of range. This draft by the Papis has a lot more variety in it as well. No pun intended. No pun intended.
You should have said it was intended. It would have made you look good.
No, because I mean, Variety's not on their team. He can't play for them.
I mean, he could.
But
he could.
I don't think...
I've seen some solo laners play for the opposition team before. Trust me, I've casted enough games to see that happen.
Fair enough, but I don't think that's the case here. And for Papis right now, what I really like is just that they have a much more spread damage kind of ability with the Thoth being balanced out with the Ravana, and then you've got Bellona, who's Bellona.
Action everywhere right now. As you can see, Papis were looking to start their red buff, but Dignitas looking to pressure and clear the wave as quick as possible. Krieg comes for his legendary solo lane gank in mid, which we see more often than not, and then teleport to his lane and get away with it too. Red buff is now down there for the Papis, and they're going to be able to get back for that first wave of minions in time if they so choose. Dignitas and Papis on the right-hand side, though, going to take the speed buff for QvoFred as the elementals go to Papis.
Really loving that ward coverage by Dignitas, though. Both of those choke points warded off.
The main thing for Papis, the big key for him here, is getting their own jungle early on. Get the jungle online, make sure it's not stripped away. And using Bellona and Ravana, if anything, they should be looking to invade themselves, but you can see Dignitas did the same thing. They were worried about being invaded, so they stripped their buffs immediately.
Plus, the failed gank attempt by the Papis early on means that they are able to make it to their buffs before Creed has cleared out that wave and then made it to look for the invade.
Good work from Warchi and Dracomarino, though, especially with a Rama and a Sobek out pressuring a Jing and a Khepri. Isn't the easiest thing in the world, but some of that will be down to the fact that the purple and red were taken by the dual lane of Dignitas.
Plus, early on wave clear almost always favors the Ram just because of the astral arrow clear. That clear is pretty insane, especially when you have all 5, and you can just continue that aggression. Oracles are going to go the way of Papis. QvoFred unable to steal that one away.
And I love the fact Dracomarino just dashed away immediately like, nope, peace, we're done. We've got what we wanted and we want to leave because nobody else is around to support. Trixtank's in mid lane here, maybe looking for a cheeky bit of a gank attempt on this Khepri. Not sure if Dheylo's seen him just yet, but in the end he'll just walk his crab legs back towards the dual lane.
All buttery up.
Or buttered up. I should say lobster legs, but crab legs, same sort of difference. They're both crustaceans.
I mean, they're both pretty tasty. And speaking of tasty, Trixtank looking like a pretty tasty snack right now to the Papis, but unable to find any of that hard secure.
It was a bit of poke damage and they couldn't really commit because the only way they could commit there is Warchi rolls in and actually hits him with the cripple, cancels with the abducts. But if Trixtank knows what he's doing, which generally most of the time, sometimes he does, he'll just hold his abducts until after the cripple wears off and he'll be fine. Still above level 4 in this lane for both teams as Draco just missing that charge prey. Funny enough, Draco playing Sobek, not playing the Ganesha this game.
I like him on the Sobek considering the draft that Dig are running. It has the cancellation of a couple of abilities for Dignitas, and it's actually going to be a Bracer. Is that a Bracer, I believe?
Bracer of Undoing used by Draco there early on just to regen himself back to a decent health pool one more time. And it's a tale of Draco versus Trix on who can miss the most dash abilities in a row. So far, I believe it's 2-1. I say 1-1, I guess, with Trix and
I'll
Draco.
call this one an even split between the two for right now.
Well, the one difference between the supports as well, other than the braces that they both have, is full investment into boots from Draco here, going for the Traveler Shoes, and Traveler Shoes as well, I guess, for Ojoboom on the Thoth in mid lane.
He wants as much gold as possible, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it, because Thoth is like such a long range for his ability, especially when he has that wall up, so that's free poke.
But is that trading off damage? That's the real question, isn't it? Because you trade off a little bit of burst and penetration, which you do get from your passive, or cooldown reductions just to get more gold.
Yeah, but that just leads me to believe that Papis aren't looking for the early aggression. They don't want to drop this game in a similar fashion to the first one, where they looked for that early on aggression and it just turned against them completely.
Well, maybe the plan for Papis, like you said, could just be wait for mid to late game and then have one good team fight with full build Thoth in the mid lane, full build Rama. And you could have a couple of issues, especially when it's Bellona, Sobek, and Ravana to try and get through it as a front line.
When it comes to burst damage, I would definitely favor the Papis draft here, but Dignitas, nothing to scoff at either. I mean, their draft doesn't necessarily have a massive amount of burst, but you've got Zyrhoes on that Morrigan who could easily transform into the Thoth to provide them with it, and plus, on top of that, they have very consistent damage between the Camazotz and the Jing.
That's true. And the actual damage amplification coming out from Zyrhoes in the mid lane and Morrigan does set up a lot of burst for QvoFred here. Qvo on that Camazotz hasn't started with Sunder, which we've seen quite a few Sunders as variety. Does a nice little back step and make sure Creed realizes if he's going to play those games, he's going to take a bit of a toll himself.
And that's exactly what every tier player loves to do against Bellona. There was a time where tier was considered the counterpick to Bellona, and now with a little bit of the death toll nerf coming through, we could potentially see a resurfacing of tier.
Well, variety is under pressure here from Dheylo, but you can see there's a ward right there. Variety knows what's up, so he's just positioned himself well enough to keep Dheylo interested, yet not too interested to try and dive him until now.
Well, he's got 3 members of the Papis to worry about, and with the protections coming out from that ultimate, Variety's just looking to turn tail and run. Khepri ult is good, though.
And now reinforcements are here. Qvo and Trixtank, the Danish brothers, they pretty much are. Dheylo under pressure, and the bat out of hell should be able to secure this unless Zyrhoes decides he needs it from the mid lane. Abduct now onto Dracomarino, surrounded. They're trying to cut off his escape route, body blocking him away, but he swings through the right-hand side just in time to safety.
That bracer came up huge for him as well. That was just the super burst. But the Ram, the snipes, he's not out of danger just yet, and he finds it.
picks up the kill, just turns in to his opposition, Warchi, to secure that one for himself. And Zyrhoes will be like, thanks very much, Warchi. Give me Rama every game. I'll take it.
Oh, that is rough. Having your own god used against you.
Yep. Now, I will say one thing as well that I do like about Sobek. Maybe one of the reasons we see some anti-heal supports coming back. Hang on. Creed could be in a bit of trouble here because I don't think he realizes Trix is still around. He'll get away in time. But keep an eye on the fact Sobek has anti-heal in his kit. He's going to be able to anti-heal a little bit, which causes issues for people going Brace of Undoing because you don't get as much sustain out of the Brace of Undoing, and neither will Qvo when he goes for the Vampiric Bats.
Don't get as much sustain, but Qvo and Trixtank both have excellent survivability tools in their kits already. You've got Trix with the revive, and then Qvo with the immunity entirely when he goes up into that ultimate.
Warchi up against Arkkyl, and Warchi losing that trade. The minions coming into play as well. Those little archers do start to add up in free damage. That'll just be poked down. Both of them with Death's Toll means it should still be relatively even. And obviously Arkkyl just get a bit of a lead. Obviously with passive, I guess, on the side of Jingwei, he always comes into play too.
I would favor Jingwei most of the time in this matchup once it starts getting to the mid-game stage, just because she has the crit in her kit. That's the main thing. It is so devastating when you're in a boxing trade and trying to just 1v1 each other, but then you get chunked for like 222 of your health.
Do you max the Persistent Gust first still on Jingwei, and then you look for the Explosive Bolts after for the crit? Is that what you look to do?
I think most people level it 1, 2, 4, 3.
Yeah,
you can do the 3, but the thing is, 3 is such a long cooldown. You shouldn't really be using your 3 for anything else other than escaping, unless you're trying to play it super aggressive and you're being left alone. If you're being isolated, then no problem. Aggress as much as you want. You have your ultimate. That's a get out of jail free card, but 1 and 2 are so good.
Creed's in trouble here. The dot damage coming through from Qvo, and he'll just fade away knowing he's dead. Go and collect his resources of the blue buff that are now stripped away off that. Creed's just in a world of hurt on this side. I'd say he's been pressured quite consistently so far. Yeah,
but losing that ultimate is going to hurt him because now that they know that it's down, I can't see Dignitas not looking to make that dive onto Creed.
We'll see if they can go for it one more time. His teleport's also on cooldown here. Variety is going to swing away at the tier 1 tower. As you can also see, QvoFred was just zoning any sort of response from Dheylo to try and pick up some of this free farm that was left from Creed's death.
Look at this mana regen by Qvo. That's all he wants right now.
Yep. Just sit in those pools, man. Those pools are OP.
Oh, it looks like a lot of fun. Just drinking the blood of your enemies.
Calm down. What's up with you?
I've been spending too much time looking at Maddie's tilting me lately.
That's just overly aggressive for a stream. Draco's in trouble. Has to dash away and use the Brace of Undoing there. You saw how much of his health he got back. Pretty much almost all the way back to full again. But that's on cooldown for the next fight, and Team Dignitas should recognize that. With the elementals going down, Gold Fury could be the next turning point of attention to be played by either team.
And I like that Papis are trying to keep the pacing of the game generally under control in comparison to game number 1, where they found a couple of early spills and then it just seemed to spiral out of control for them. This time around, they're just still kind of slow playing it, really trying to stretch things out to that mid-late game stage. Yeah, if they can. Arkkyl stepped on a ward here and he doesn't know that he's got 2 waiting around the corner for him. Pressured out, and nice bit of poke, and Arkkyl going to get pulled in. But being Jingwei with agility, thank you so much, Sobek. I'll escape even further than I was going to originally. Fun with Jingwei. And now he can safely farm away in the lane still. He's got enough lane clear to just clean out that wave back and then come back into lane full health. Well, Ojoboom, we saw him go for the Traveler's Shoes early on. Now he's invested into Doom Orb here. So it's a little bit of a delayed Doom Orb by going for the Traveler's Shoes, not rushing the shoes first. But he's going to get a bit of power from this too, which will work out nicely with the pen he gets from his passive. The power is really being compensated for in the loss with the Traveler, so I like the Doom Orb selection. It is a little bit risky though, considering he is up against a Camazotz, and that's probably one of the best gods for sticking to a Thoth. Right-hand side, Creed versus Variety still continuing on here. Zyrhoes the opposition for Ojoboom in the mid lane. Looks like he's working on that Spear of Desolation, and with 2 kills, he's getting relatively close, relatively quick for 10 minutes in. Plus, he's got the CDR boots online already, but it's looking like Dheylo looking to get a little bit more onto him. Wow, Zyrhoes really worried about the all-in potential there coming out so quickly. Turns into his buddy. I was going to say his buddy QvoFred, but it's not his buddy at all. It's Dheylo, just to use the ult to escape. I can't blame him, though. No. I get it. It's just a great win for the Papis there to have that ultimate cooldown. Man fight going on, and Arkyl's got to be respectful of the archers this time himself, because they will continue to swing. So Warchi happy with the result there. Even though he was down a little bit when you actually look at itemization, he's going to head back to base and catch up. Hey, there's nothing wrong with just falling back, and I actually like that choice by Warchi to not just look for the roll in and then aggress onto the Jing Wei, because it's a pretty easy situation to get turned onto yourself.
Dheylo rotated by Trixtank. Oracles are pulled for a second. Dignitas in real control as the steal will go to Dignitas in the end. Papis didn't secure one for themselves at all. Now the pull onto Dracomarino puts him in an awkward spot from Trixtank, but Dignitas just happy, I guess, with the result. They don't really want to take a fight just yet, it seems. Happy to just win the farm trade wars more than anything else.
I can't blame Dignitas. I mean, having the Oracle Vision already is such a strong acquisition for them. Hold that thought, though. It could be Trixtank in a dangerous spot. Sunder is going out onto him, and now it's Dheylo looking to make the play.
A lot of investment on Trixtank, whose brace for undoing is down, has his ultimate still available if he needs to. Draco still committing. Qvo could collapse around the back. Snipes from Warchi! Oh, he's going to force the ult from Trix at the least, otherwise he would have reset anyway.
At least they found the ultimate, though. I think that's what they were looking for initially. Kind of unfortunate the ult from Ojoboom didn't connect. Otherwise, I think he might have died, not expecting those snipes from Warchi.
And that makes it a little bit awkward for Dignitas in the next team fight, because you'd like to see Qvo diving into the back line of that Camazotz, knowing he's got the revive from Trixtank available. But with Trix's ult now being on cooldown for a bit, it might be more of a waiting game again from Dignitas while they wait for those ultimates to become available once more.
Nothing, and that's probably best case scenario for the Papis, just trying to wait things out, but Variety's not looking to wait any longer. It's completely over for Creed as Variety takes first blood in that duo lane.
Welcome to solo lane in Europe, Creed in the Pro League. It's a rough place to be, and against someone like Variety, who's just grown and grown over the years, from the start of the Pro League when he was on Team Worth all the way back in the day, considering a very good team at that back then. Through the lulls of some of the teams he's been on too, now rises back to the glory days of being one of the most known solo laners in Europe.
I kind of hate Variety right now, though.
Why?
I haven't missed seeing Tyr in my ranked games.
Well, he's back.
Yeah,
I miss
know.
Tyr. Tyr's great to commentate on because he's always fun to watch and see the amazing plays. You know, the double, triple fearlesses, the Lawbringers, the amazing escapes and survivability. And then the trolls. The trolls are my favorite, where you just run around the map and can't die because you're Tyr. They're always good.
That's not fun. That's not fun for anybody, actually, that has to play against it.
Yeah, but we're not playing against it.
I guess
we're
that's true.
Entertaining people with it.
It is the Papis trying to deal with that right now, and Creed in particular, who is... I'm not sure how this rest of this lane is really going to go for him now that Variety's got the initial advantage over him.
Full breastplate of Valor online too. You do see that Creed, though, has hit level 12 and now picked up the Brace of Undoing. So he's going to be able to avoid some of that damage Variety's going to do, but Variety's a combo character on Tyr anyway. You get hit by a Fearless Power Cleave, you're not going to die unless you're low health. So you can only really heal up a certain margin of the damage that's going to get done.
My biggest concern for the Papis is the fact that it's Variety who's playing the Tyr, because he's not going to really be missing his Fearlesses at all, if ever.
Yeah, I will say, I believe Variety and Dimmy are probably the best two Tyrs I know over in Europe. As it stands right now, there'll probably be a solo lane screaming, hang on, what about me? But for the two that I can think of at the top of my head, definitely those two.
It's those two.
Paul Demon pulled by Dignitas for a second, but reset as now the blue buff stolen away from Papis' jungle once more. Papis looking to contest, though. Maybe look for a pick in the jungle if they can. But Variety's not really scared here because he knows he's got Trix and Qvo just waiting to support if required.
The experience lead is starting to spiral out of control for the Papis. Speaking of which, QvoFred pulled into a moment of danger, but he still has his ultimate available.
And he's going to have to use the Brace of Undoing to get him some health back. Uses his ultimate there. Don't think he really would like to, but it could set some things up as they were looking for Zyrhoes for a second. Trix in mid, misses his abduct again, unfortunately, onto two targets, but Zyrhoes' stun was great. However, Creed diving in puts a lot more pressure on. Zyrhoes also way to live to fight another day. Different story for Trix, who's dead. Variety makes sure Ojoboom knows the law is here, but Draco picks up QvoFred. Good fight for the Papis. Arkkyl on full health is here, and he's not going to find Achilles after.
Arkkyl was full health when he arrived, but now he's at half. But it's going to be Draco who's getting caught out by Variety in the Fearless, able to barely escape.
Great fight for the Papis there. They get 2 kills and they all survive is the bigger telling point. Fantastic work of survivability and just getting away in the nick of time to live to fight again. They're 2 big kills there, Taco, onto 2 targets that are the backbone of this team. With the jungler and support dying, it's going to keep them in check for the next time round here.
I think that's also, that entire fight is credited to Ojoboom on the Thoth. Had that ultimate not connected, Dignitas would have turned that.
I think the Eagles rally from Creed really comes into play too, because him hitting 2, mainly QvoFred and Zyrhoes, there was a big setup to allow them to try and find that small window. So 15 minutes in, and now the Papis should have a bit more lease of life. It's better than game 1 already. That's the main thing.
It is better than game 1 by far. It's showing that Papis didn't let that tilt factor be an issue for them after how the first game went down. And one thing that I am also surprised that didn't really look to aggress onto was the Gold Fury. I guess that Arkkyl and Variety just felt a little bit uncomfortable trying to look at that gold.
When you mentioned Gold Fury, it looks like Papis are going to take a little peek at it now. Trixtank, Arkkyl first on the scene. 5 members of the Papis are here. They may want to try and fight this one out. Wanting to see where the response was, but now they've really released the Gold Fury again. But around the corner comes Variety and Qvo, and Papis going to look for engaging.
And Variety's the last person you want to see hanging around the backside of your team.
Damage.
Speaking of which, it's going to be Creed getting a lot of poke onto him from Arkkyl.
Aren't sure what they want to do here, Taco. I think they want to feel like they can do the Gold Fury. Instead, they're losing a full wave to the Tier 1 tower. The red buff being aggressed on by Dignitas as well in terms of Variety. And if anything, they lose this trade because look at how much damage the Tier 1's taking for free. And they're getting zoned away from getting back towards mid now as well. Dracomarino going to get Fearless Power Clave and abducted and then airstruck. And then that's the Brace of Undoing down too. Dheylo, though, takes out Trixtank in the midst of that. As in the sky, Warchi's looking for snipes.
They're completely separating Dignitas, though, and with Trixtank being dead already, there's nowhere left for the backline of Dig to go. But they're running down Dheylo, no problem. Warchi's already fallen to Zyrhoes, and now he's just going to clean up Draco, no problem.
Messy fight from Papis here. They're the ones that started the Gold Fury. And that was just Dignitas showing experience of like, well, Gold Fury's healthy enough right now. They're not going to burst it in time. We can just wait until it gets a little bit lower before we start aggressing even more. And in the end, Dignitas end up winning big off that engagement once more, up to just around 5,000 gold lead.
Just a little bit too much hesitation, I would say, from the Papis. Not really certain of whether they wanted to defend the T1, defend their red buff, or secure that gold.
And if anything, they're going to get worse for them now because Tier 1's down on the right side already. Portal Demon's going to drop down here too after the Gold Fury. And then Dignitas, the lead is starting to stretch back to a game 1 sort of lead all over again.
And this kind of just relays back to that initial thought where one minor mistake at the pro level is really all that these teams need in order to capitalize and fully punish.
It was a Gold Fury dance. That's all it was. It was a Gold Fury dance that they should have either reset or commit to. They didn't do either, and in the end, costs them quite a lot more than they would have bargained for there. Zyrhoes at 16 in mid lane. I was a little bit worried about his gold in his hand because of the fact that I was keeping an eye on Ojoboom the whole time, and I saw he had Doom Orb and Spirit Desolation finished. Meanwhile, Zyrhoes only had Spirit Desolation finished, but now he's added that extra penetration to the list, so he's going to be swinging now.
He's going to be swinging, and he's not the only one on his team. Trixtank forced to use his bracer already as the rest of the Papis are trying to collapse onto him. Creed's up in the air, up and down.
Someone help Ojoboom in the back line. Where are the Papis? Help him out. They're trying to support at the last minute, but he's too little too late. Qvo's already taken his life. Variety's going to dip out and move towards Dheylo now as Qvo's running for his life like a bat out of hell. No bat out of hell available, but there is an ultimate from Trixtank. Warchi in the sky with diamonds. Great ultimate, but a last-second revive comes to the rescue. Arkkyl will pick up Creed, and Dracomarino exits stage right.
And again, just that trickling effect. Everybody just dropping off one by one, losing sight of the target focus, leaving Ojoboom completely exposed in the backline. Warchi's underneath the T1 tower, but Variety doesn't care about that tower at all.
With Portal Demon being down, Gold Fury down, this is all Dignitas need to do. Pay attention to the tower in mid lane. The first one's going to fall in a matter of seconds, and the Tier 2 is definitely on the cards too.
Ojoboom has respawned, but he's not going to be able to get here in time, I don't believe. Dignitas are just looking to make the aggressive stance here.
Yeah, they're going to get the Tier 2 here, but Qvo may fall down for this one. Luckily enough, he will heal up just enough in time after using the Brace of Undoing too. And there's an extra gold in the bank for Dignitas after 2 towers, and they can just fall back to farming once more.
So many bracers in this game. 5 bracers.
I mean, it got buffed.
It got buffed.
It got buffed. Sunder replaced by Bracer. That's what the meta is reading now.
Don't worry, we'll see a few tweets about it soon enough.
You reckon? You reckon? We'll find out as things continue forward, but Europe really showing that they like the Brace of Undoing. We've still got one more set today, which will be Enix versus Rival after this set too, which will be a very telling one of probably the highest level competition Europe has this week between the two teams in terms of how close they should be.
How close they should be, and I said it earlier as well. I just really want to see what happens, because if it ends up as a split, it's going to be such a stiff competition between these EU teams.
Definitely. Well, pressure on the Gold Fury there from Papis, just looking to get those oracles, and do so, immediately fall back to the safety of their own half of the map. Wall coverage is also in Dignitas' favour here. You can see there's a nice line through this mid lane of wards, just keeping track of things. The left-hand Harpies, right-hand Harpies, and the Fire Giant, they've got to be careful here, Papis, of giving up too much position around this fire.
That was for almost a questionable back right there, but able to get out, and unfortunately for Papis, though, that back does mean
here's the issue.
They can have Fire Giant pressure.
Stun onto Dheylo. Dheylo wrapped in place. Fearless power cleave there. Strike for days. 2 members dead as Dignitas just CC them to death. And there's nothing Papis can do about this Fire Giant now. What a nice little combo.
Rip the Papis. I think once this Fire Giant goes the way of Team Dignitas, I'm not sure that there's much time left in the game.
And now left-hand side, you can see Warchi's going to try and farm it up. Creed's joining him and like, well, Warchi, you know what? I need some farm too. Let's try and push this in together because we can't stop that tier 2 push on the right-hand side where Dignitas have 4 members strong. Trixtank's going to go and defend. Really, Trix? Khepri versus 2? All right.
Khepri versus the world.
Let's see how this goes.
Level 13 Khepri about to make some plays.
I don't think I slow down if I'm the Papis here. I'll still go for the tier 2. Meanwhile, tier 2 on the right-hand side falls down the way of Dignitas as Trixtank starts eating a lot of autos from Warchi. And this, I guess, is the issue with sending your support back to defend, is Trix is not having a good time. He's buying enough time though for the teleport to come through. Papis knows what's up. And with Variety turning up, Creed has already rallied here. And now he's going to have to go home to the fountain.
Baited. That's all that Trix wanted to do. He just wanted to bait them in.
I guess.
He had the bracer.
Risky.
There wasn't any anti-heal, and he had the bracer.
Best support in the world. Go to tier 2, 2v1, and
careful
survive.
with saying that. You're going to have a lot of angry supports pretty soon.
No, there's no support. Supports don't exist, really. They don't.
They don't exist in the public eye?
They're all damage dealers in disguise. That's all it is. Qvo pressured out on Bracer on dying again, used there from Qvo. Got to put him in a better spot as Variety just pushing up the minions more than anything else so they can get the tier 1 on the left-hand side. The right-hand side and the middle lanes stripped of towers now. It's only Phoenixes and the left-hand towers to pay attention to.
So Qvo's full health again.
Yep, that's
a fun time.
Well, it's Camazotz with Bombers and a Bracer. It's going to be a lot of issues for him. We saw Camazotz rise into the meta when everyone was saying Sunder brought him back in. But Sunder's technically gone a little bit more now. You don't see a single Sunder on Dignitas. Yet Camazotz is still here.
Not a single Sunder, but I mean, Camazotz itemization is still very strong for him. As long as Shifters is relevant, I think that Camazotz will be too.
Papis are just sat in the base right now. They can't really do anything across the map. Surprised Dignitas didn't look for a Phoenix here with the Fire Giant so far. Instead, they've just taken the safer option of all towers, all jungle.
Mind games. No, I think they're mostly just concerned about getting all-in again by the Thoth. Even though he is only level 16, he still does have that Spirit Deso, the Obsidian Shard, and the Doom Orb. That's enough damage where if he manages to connect it in a fight, the Papis have enough follow-up damage, I believe, to potentially turn the tides in their favor.
Well, we'll see, because the itemization and the levels of Dignitas is just starting to pick up pace even more so now. Zyrhoes in the mid lane has that Rod of Tahuti finished as well. Such a monster power spike for those mid lane mages.
Yeah, that's a scary power spike for somebody like Zyrhoes in particular. And on this Morrigan, he just loves being in that invis stance, looking for the cheeky plays. And
Bit surprised by this. Bit surprised that Dignitas have let Papis push all the way down. Zyrhoes recognizes this is an issue. So the call is defend, I guess, because the call's coming out late for Dignitas. The 3 members in the mid and right were taking a long time to get back here. Papis looking to siege down this Phoenix. Arkkyl's back though, and there was Zyrhoes going in as well with QvoFred. Pressure is on. Papis have already lost Ojoboom. Warchi was in the sky. No, it wasn't Warchi, it was Zyrhoes. Creed's one hit from death. Fearless power cleave on Dheylo takes him down. And in the end, Papis, I like the call. I do. Dignitas were out of position, but they're still just too far behind to fight.
When a game has pretty much lost, when you've lost control of a game and the way that the Papis have, that's kind of just your last chance option. I mean, they were obviously last-ditch effort, looking to just knock down the Phoenix. Maybe if we get the Phoenix, we can buy enough time to come back into this game. Unfortunately, it just doesn't end up working out for them.
Well, it's Dracomarino versus the world here as 5 members of Dignitas piling down mid lane. His ultimate's available here, so we can clear a minion wave, if required, at the Titan to force Dignitas to defend it if they're going to do that. But it looks like they're going to go for the Phoenix instead. Can they end here? It's probably not the case with all the respawns coming through.
I think that they can wipe the Papis again and then look for the end.
Well, they're going to have to try and wipe him first. There's no Fire Giant on the side of Dignitas this time round. Ultimate still on cooldown for the Papis. 3 ultimates available for Dignitas here as they look to defend the left-hand Phoenix. Creed steps forward, puts a bit of pressure onto Arkkyl for a second. Qvo and Variety drawing the Papis' attention towards them. The slightly tankier and more survivable lineup, but Draco goes in. Trix in a bit of trouble, will have ducked away. Great Eagles rally from Creed, but Trix just revives as meanwhile Ojoboom on a wild ride with that fearless combo. Qvo has to go up into the sky defensively to get away from the danger zone as Variety still tanking up the tower. Papis hold and Ojoboom picks up Arkkyl.
Arkkyl just got wrecked.
Warchi was looking for the snipes on Qvo, but Qvo danced away. Draco's still going in, but gets stunned and bursted. And now Draco's like, nope, I've had enough of that one.
Arkkyl actually just got completely destroyed.
Yeah, he did. Oh, Zyrhoes looking for a play.
Oh, wow, he's full health.
I don't know about this one. Obviously, the stealth lasts a long time as well. As you level it up, you get the extra mobility, causes so many problems for the Papis. 17-4, though. Papis hold their base.
I don't know what it is
well,
about Thoth just swinging into your face, but it's just one of those instances where you think that you're fine and that you're going to get out completely free.
It's like Yarnasol, right? It's the same thing as when a Yarnasol's going to be like, no.
Not quite, though, because Yarnasol, it like comes through the wall, and a lot of times you just don't hear it.
Sure.
So there's that concern, but for the Thoth to the face, that just looks like it kind of hurts.
It's a little bit quicker than Yarnasol, too, I guess. So when you see it coming, you're like, I'm dead. Or I'm not dead. Like, you're just like, please don't hit me. That's all you can really dream of with that. He's like, please don't hit me.
Yeah, unfortunately for Arkkyl, he didn't have his Aegis available or his ultimate since they were trying to take up the more aggressive stance. But even though it deters Dignitas temporarily, the Fire Giant is still on the map, and I'm almost certain that Dig are just going to look to secure that and then siege up the Titan room.
Variety clearing out the wards, and more sentries drop down by Dignitas. 4 members here. Well, 5 will be there soon as Trix is now on his way. The crits coming through from Arkkyl here with the build. He's got it for himself. It's mainly just relying on explosive bolts. It looks like he may go for Deathbringer or Rage next, but they're not going to start the Fire Giant just yet. They started for a second. A little bit worried about Ojoboom and that final judgment.
Really prioritize the damage, and I mean, there's no concern about Warchi if that was ever crossing their mind. He is going to be completely erased.
No chance to even get his ages off there, Warchi, poor old boy. Now Fire Giant started up, and everyone in Papis is like, well, Warchi's dead. Let's fall back and try and defend the Titan. The Fire Giant is not going to be an opportunity for us to contest.
And Arkkyl pulling out the Wind Demon onto the Jing wave, really prioritizing his attack speed here.
Fearless from Variety traps Draco in place.
Goodbye.
And with 2-3 damage dealers in tow, it won't take long for the Crocodile to no longer smile. Middle Phoenix is due up relatively soon, though, but I think they could be looking to end off this push.
I think they can end, no doubt in my mind. They're not going to wait around for it any longer. They want to finish off this game, secure this set, and it's looking that way. Dheylo using the Bracer, healing back up to nearly full, but it doesn't matter. The damage is just too much from Dignitas.
And the Titan will fall down, giving Dignitas the 2-0 momentarily. Want to see if they do manage to kill Ojoboom. Nope, they won't. 21-4 in just under 29 minutes. Team Dignitas 2-0 the Papis. To be expected, but then again, we saw Papis against rivals, so it's not always expected.
It's always just fun to play the devil's advocate and see whether or not they can take a game off of them. But Dig just looking incredibly composed in both of those games, controlling almost every single aspect of them.
Game 1 was really, really rough for the Papis. Got off to a bad start with an engagement. Didn't go their way. Game 2 was better, though. They held on a little bit earlier. They still dropped some early kills, though, and never really had much control in the game.
You could tell that they learned a lot, though, just from that first game against Dignitas. They were still able to come back, not really let tilt be a factor, and I think that their draft improved significantly, and just their overall gameplay. It's Variety just went ham, Zyrhoes just went ham, and there's just not much else left to be said.
Well, you mentioned Zyrhoes playing the Morrigan in both games there. Made a nice little impact consistently in Game 1, and this game specifically just rotating around and finding nice little kills. He ends up turning to Rama here, I think, is the opportunity. Because everyone's like, damn it, did he really get away? And Zyrhoes is like, do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it? He's still there.
I think he was waiting for the mana.
And then he's like, yeah. I guess he was waiting for the mana. You might be right on that.
I think he was waiting for the mana on that one in order to use his ultimate, because he got a full mana health bar thanks to Warchi, but that was a sick play.
A nice little play coming out from Zyrhoes and Dignitas too. 2 over to them. And with that, that's it for Game 3. We've got one more set to bring you, though, and it's the big one today. Enix up against Rival. Find out after the break who takes that.